Hello everyone, this is Mr. Jimenez coming to you from my classroom. You might be like, yo, Mr. Jimenez, that looks different. And you're right, because we're in a different part of my classroom. This is my favorite part of my classroom because it's the most colorful one. Why am I moving around? Because I want you to get to know my classroom before you come in person to meet me, which will happen eventually, right? So let's talk. Today we're doing a lab. We're going to do a guided lab. And this lab is about conductivity. Mr. Jimenez, what the heck does that mean? Well, let me tell you. Just gotta be patient, chill. So, conductivity refers to objects that are called either conductors or insulators. What are those, Mr. Jimenez? Let's talk about it. Conductors are materials that allow electricity to pass through. So when you think of a conductor, I want you to think and do this hand motion with me. Let's do it. Ready? You're going to say conductors allow electricity to pass through. You think you can do it? Let's try it again. Let's give it your own spin. Make it sassy, all right? Ready? And conductors allow electricity to pass through. You got it? Beautiful, stunning. I love it. You're the best, and you know it. Let's do another one, all right? Next one. We're going to talk about insulators. What's an insulator, Mr. Jimenez? I told you to wait. I'm going to tell you. Let's do it, okay? Insulators are materials that stop electricity to pass through. So, how do I remember it, and how are you going to remember it? Just like this. Just watch and learn. You're going to do this. You're going to say, the insulator. I stop electricity from passing through. Remind you of anyone? The Terminator, Insulator. Hope it does. If you don't know what the Terminator is, look it up, please. It's a great movie. So do it with me, all right? Let's try it. Show me who's boss. Show me who's the best, because I'm going to watch. I want to watch to see who does it when we come back. I want to see who does the best impersonation. So let's try it. Again, ready? And the insulator. I stop electricity from passing through. All right, you got it? So remember those. They're going to help. When you're taking your test, that's going to help you remember. So let me give you some examples of some conductors and some insulators. Let's see some examples. So what we're going to use today is a pair of scissors to show you. Now, I didn't say this earlier, but a thing to know about conductors is conductors are usually made out of metal. That could be silver. That could be iron. That could be gold, cobalt, copper. You name it, it's a metal. More than likely, it's a conductor. So, what part of these scissors do you think is a conductor? What do you think? This side, the black side, or the silver side? The silver, right? Because it's metal. And I'll show you what that looks like on my circuit. So we test conductors, and we know materials are conductors because they allow electricity to pass through. One way we can check that is using a thing called this. Ooh, almost broke it, but I fixed it. It's something called a circuit. Now I'm going to turn the lights off to show you how circuits work exactly. So I'm going to go down, boop, and then I'm going to turn the lights off. Circuits are comprised of a battery and a light bulb. And when you connect the wires, you can see that our light bulb turns on. You see that orange glow? That is a light bulb. When you place a conductor between the wires, let's do that, and the light glows, see how it's glowing and they're connected? That means that this material is a conductor because it allows energy or electricity to pass through. So it's going through the metal into the other wires back to the light bulb. Okay? The opposite of a conductor is a material called an insulator. And insulators do what? Do it with me. They stop electricity from passing through. On these scissors, the plastic end is an insulator. How do I know? Because when I connect my insulator to my circuit, it's connected already. You see that? Is my light bulb on? No, it's not on. So this material is called a what? You're right, an insulator, because it stops electricity from passing through. Awesome job. So here's what we're going to do now. I'm going to go through a list of materials and I'm going to test them on my circuit. What I want you to do is you're going to observe the lab, and then on your assignment on Microsoft Teams, you're going to check off the correct box. Either the material is a conductor or an insulator. Think you can do that? I know you can do that. So let's get started, okay? So the first material we're gonna use is if you've been watching the other videos, you know what this is. It's cork. Remember, cork is a type of wood. So let's see if this type of wood or this cork is either a conductor and it allows electricity to pass through, or if it's an insulator and stops electricity from passing through. Let's test it. You ready? Ready, 1, 2, 3, boom. Notice how they're connected. Is my light bulb on? No. I observe that my light is not turning on, so I know that electricity is not passing through. What do we call this material if the electricity is not passing through? A conductor or an insulator? Go ahead and write that in your notes. Alrighty, next material we're going to test is sugar. I'm using a sugar cube, which is just sugar that's in the shape of a cube. I'll zoom in I'll go up close so you can see exactly what that looks like. It's just a cube of sugar. If I want to break it apart, there's sugar that comes off, okay? Don't eat this, at least not in the lab. If we were in the lab, you don't want to eat this. So let's test and see. We want to see if it's a conductor and does what? You're right, allows electricity, or if it's an insulator and does what? You're right, stops electricity from passing through. So let's test it. Ready, 1, 2, 3, boom. Is my light bulb on? No. So what do you think this material is called? An insulator or a conductor? Write it down in your notes. I'm sorry, not in your notes, on your assignment. Next material we're going to test is something called an eraser. You know these. You probably have one of these at home. Now, erasers are made out of rubber. And fun fact, rubber is the material that a lot of wires are covered in, a lot of chargers, if you have a charger at home for like a phone or a computer or something, or the charger that you're getting with your computer, it's probably rubber or plastic, which are very similar. And they stop the electricity from getting out of the wire. So let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to connect it. I have one. Let me try the other. Ready, 1, 2, 3, boom. Is the electricity passing through? No, it's not. So is this a conductor or an insulator? Write it down. Moving on. Next, we're going to try another material that you're very familiar with. Here's a penny. Now, pennies are made out of metal, and this metal is called copper. Okay? Copper. So you think you can remember that? Pennies are made out of what? You're right. They're made out of copper. So let's test if this penny that is made out of copper is a conductor or an insulator. Let's test it. Ready, 1, 2, 3, boom. I noticed something that hadn't happened before. Our light bulb is on. So what does that mean? Did the penny allow electricity to pass through, or did it stop electricity from passing through? So remember, which one's a conductor and which one's an insulator? Write it down. Beautiful, beautiful. Stunning. I love it. We're done with that one. Next material we're going to use is also a metal. This metal is called iron. Can you say that with me? Iron. Not like a plancha, the stuff that your mom irons with. Not that. No. Iron. Right here. Iron nail. It's metal. It's used in a lot of buildings. You can hear it. It's pretty hard. Now, let's see. Is iron going to be, what do you think? Is it going to be a conductor and allow electricity to pass through? Or is it going to be an insulator and stop electricity from passing through? Let's test it. You ready? Ready, 1, 2, 3, boom. I'm observing that my light bulb is on. So is this a conductor or an insulator? Write it down, write it down. And then we have 3 more things we're going to test. The next thing we're going to test is a craft stick or a popsicle stick. Now these are made out of wood. So let's see. We already tested another material that was made out of wood, remember? Cork is made of wood. So based on that information, what do you think is going to happen to this craft stick? Is it going to be a conductor or an insulator? Let's test it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Boom. Is my light bulb on? It's not. It is not. It is not. So is this a conductor or an insulator? Write it down in your notes. I'm sorry, I keep saying that, but you're not writing it down. You're putting it in your assignment online. Silly Mr. Jimenez. Alrighty, moving on. And then next we're gonna test a different material. This material is almost like a powder. You can see it's sand. We're gonna test sand. Now, funny thing to know about sand is made from tiny pieces of rocks that are called sediments. So the sediments in here are just rock. Now, what do you think is gonna happen? Do you think the rock is gonna be a conductor or an insulator? Let's find out. Let's see. Let's put them in the powder. Boom. Is this a conductor or an insulator? I noticed that the sand has stopped the electricity from passing through. So how do I know? What is it? Is it a conductor or an insulator? Put it on your assignment. And then last but not least, we're going to use another powder. This powder is called iron filings. So it's a black powder. It kind of looks like pepper, the kind that you put on your food, but you don't want to eat this kind because this material is made out of tiny pieces of iron. So it's like powder that's made from iron. Let me see if I can pour some out so you can see a little bit better. Boom, 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 boom. Oh gosh. Do you see the powder? So again, this is iron filings. So let's see if this is a conductor or an insulator. Remember, it's made out of metal. So let's see what it is. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Isn't that crazy? This powder, which is made out of iron, is allowing the electricity to pass through. Why do you think? Why do you think it is allowing itself to pass through? Well, I'll tell you what, because it's probably I won't say it, but write it down in your notes. So guys, that is all the materials we will be testing today. I hope you liked today's lesson and today's lab. And make sure to, after watching this video, you go back to Microsoft Forms or Microsoft Teams and you finish bubbling in the correct answers. Sounds good? Great. You're awesome. Don't forget it. And I'll see you pretty soon. Bye.